and I graduated from USC Upstate in May of 2009. My major here is sociology, and I had a minor in criminal justice. And then I took 2 years of a break before I went to grad school down at USC in Columbia, and that's where I got my master's degree in social work. And so now I'm a licensed social worker. I wanted to come and talk to you all today about graduation and the process of finding a job and how crazy hectic that is, and just it's a long, long process. But when I graduated from USC Upstate, you feel like, well, at least I felt like somebody owed me something. Like, you went to college for 4 years, and people say now you have your degree and you're gonna get a job and everything's gonna be great. And so you go and you start applying for things, and then real life and reality hits. And so you start realizing that it's not as easy for everybody as you might think it is. Some people do have great luck with just getting a job after they graduate and they just start their career. But more likely than not, it's more difficult for a lot of people than we all think. And so, like I said, I went to school, got my degree, and I thought that I would automatically get a job, but it was not that easy. And so I always tell people to be strategic while you're in school. Do internships, do volunteer work, and plan your career out before you even graduate from school. And so that will definitely help you as you're trying to get into your career field. So for me, I did not have that advice when I was in school. And so, like I said, I thought that someone was gonna hand me something because I had a degree. But it took me a long time to find a job when I got out of school. And also that sense of entitlement, it makes you think that you can turn down certain jobs. Like, I did get a few offers from a few different places, but I thought they were not paying enough. And so I'm like, oh no, I have a 4-year degree, I'm not taking that. And so I think I may have turned down about 3 jobs before reality hit me. And I'm like, okay, I have no experience. I didn't have an internship. I did a lot of volunteer work, but it wasn't necessarily geared toward my field. And so I was like, okay, I have to humble myself. And I was living at home. I moved back home after graduation, and I took a year off, and I declined about 3 jobs. But finally, I got a job in my field, and it was only making $19,000 a year, which is absolutely nothing. But I had turned down so many jobs, I had to take it. I was living at home, and it got my foot in the door, and I'm so glad that I did, because now I'm where I want to be in my career. And that was 2010 when I got that job, 2010, 11. So about 2 years after I graduated, I finally got my foot in the door, although it was not paying what I wanted it or needed it to pay. And so I worked at the Lawrence County Safe Home. And at that time, I couldn't really call myself a social worker because I did not have a master's or a license in social work. At that time, you have to have both of those in the state of South Carolina to call yourself a social worker. And so I was basically a case manager, and there is a difference between the two. And so the way that relates to your field or your major is that, and every job that I've had actually relates to something that you all do in your major or your career field. And that's because in every single position that I've held, we work with management information systems. And so at the domestic violence shelter is what it is. I was a case manager, and I helped people to get housing that were victims of domestic violence. And every patient, or I call them patients now because I'm at the hospital, but then we called them clients. So every client that we had to enter them into an information management system. And that's how we tracked them. And because they were homeless, and they were homeless not because they were living on the streets, but they were homeless because they did not have a permanent address. And so we had to track them in an information management system called HMIS, and I know y'all call it HIMS, but for us it stood for Homelessness Management Information System. And so that's how we tracked how many payments for their rent we made for them, or how many children they had, how much assistance they got from different places, all those kind of things. So after that, I got into grad school at USC, and I moved to Columbia, and I got a different job working with homeless families in transitional housing. And again, we used that same system, and it was more detailed because we had to enter all of our notes into that system. And if it crashed, then we had a huge problem on our hands. And so we had to wait for somebody to come in and fix it, or, you know, they shut it down and then they have to do whatever, I guess you all would be doing to make it work right for us. And then, it would come back up. So, let's see, I worked there for 4 years while I got my master's degree. And then I moved to Greenville, and I got a job at the police department as a victim advocate. And there, I stayed there for 2 years, and we also used a management information system there called VAMS, and it was Victim Assistance Management System, I think. And there we put all of our notes in, and we tracked, you know, who the offender was, what the crime was, what the outcome from court was. Like everything that we do, we document. Like I'm writing paragraphs, novels, books every single day, because pretty much when I'm on the phone, word for word, what people say, I have to put it into the system, or else it didn't happen. And so that's very important for us as far as documentation. We have to document everything, and we get audited by people who provide grants for us, and they use those systems to pull that information to see if we're doing what we need to do. And so when I was at the shelter, that was my first time hearing from one of the grantors that we had to document everything. So she came and she looked through this big file, because we had everything in paper as well. And so she was looking through it. It was my very first job, and I was really nervous. And so she was looking through it, and she was like, well, this says this here, and this says this here, but it doesn't say it here.